Hi, Aries. Welcome to your January 2024 tarot reading. January's astrology is, I've been saying a lot that it feels a lot like the Wheel of Fortune because there are a lot of shifts that are coming, like a lot of shifts that are coming. And there's really this drive and ambition with you guys, particularly with all the planets moving into Capricorn. We start with Mars in Capricorn, where he's exalted, and that goes into your 10th house for Aries rising and Aries sun. So, but yeah, if you want to get your astrology in detail, I have all of the rising signs up on Patreon. But Capricorn season is super ambitious for you. It's the 10th house. It's the most public house. And we have Mars exalted there. We have Mercury returning there mid-month and like just after the Capricorn new moon, also in your 10th house. And then Venus at the end of the month. And we also have Uranus and Jupiter in Taurus. And so there's this beautiful trine that happens between the Capricorn planets this season and your planets, and the Taurus planets in your second house. So there's a lot of career activity. There's a lot of, working with other people and collaborating and doing a lot of that. And it's very interesting that we say that because we have the Two of Cups popping out first. It was the very first card that came out. Now, I'm going to tell you guys that it flew out and it flipped around and it was sitting here in reverse while the rest of the cards came out. And I have to kind of pay attention to that. So I feel like there's something that's a little discombobulated in your relationship. Now we're going to keep it upright because, first of all, I believe that we can still get the energy of the reading with the upright cards. But I want you to make sure that you're focusing on what you need to do to nurture your relationship. And it may even be that in December is where the relationship I couldn't see the green light. And so I was like, there are green lights all around me. No, the one on my microphone, you guys. I just wanted to make sure it was still on. But yeah, so just make sure that you're nurturing and make sure that it's a reciprocal. So we have the Two of Cups, we have the Justice and Knight of Cups. On the top, High Priestess, and the 10 of Cups. I feel like for some of you, this feels very much like you know that there's something better out there for you. For some of you. For others of you, there's a balance that's needed in the relationship. I'm not sure if you're dealing with a Libra or a Pisces energy, could even be both. But I feel like that intuitively, you know, with this Knight of Cups, that there needs to be some kind of reciprocation that's happening. And then I love that we have the 10 of Cups down here, but sometimes that 10 of Cups can become a little bit fantastical. Like it can be just a fantasy life and not really the reality of the situation. So let's get these clarified. Let's see what the Two of Cups is. I feel like January for you guys is really about working on balancing out the relationships in your life. And it doesn't even have to be romantic. Like this doesn't have to be about a romantic relationship if that's not where you are currently. This could very well be about balancing the relationship that you have with other people, friends, balancing the relationships that you have with family members and just anybody that you have a really close connection with. Let's get all of these clarified. So, yeah, there's an amount of detachment that I feel like is necessary, right? You know, I got to say, you guys, while I was doing those cards and like shuffling and then getting everything out, the cards feel really, really heavy. So I'm going to cleanse them after this reading. I cleanse them in between every single reading, cleansed them before I even started, shuffled everything. But they just felt like they did not want to come out of the deck at all. And I mean, like my cards and I are very connected with each other. So they just didn't feel like they wanted to come out of the deck. I love this. We have almost all major arcanas coming out to clarify these cards for you. So this is a new beginning in relationships for you. And I think that it's generally a new beginning in relationships for you. And it's about having faith, I feel like, more so in yourself, about taking that leap of faith. Because, and one of the things that I've really learned, you know, Aries, in my life, and I've been through a lot. So one of the things that I've learned in my life is love and relationships are not always going to be happy and you know, like these things where it's, you know, these things where they complete us and we're always joyful and we're always, you know, having a good day. And like, it's not, relationships are not the things that are supposed to make our lives easier or better. We are supposed to make the relationship we have with ourselves is supposed to make our lives better. That's the relationship that we focus on for that. But when it comes to other people, those people are bonuses in love in our lives. And love is pain as well as you know, in the same sentence, it's also happiness and joy and you know, all of the really good emotions and that too. But that's why it's so hard to take a leap of faith when it comes to people, because you know, first of all, it's really hard to remember that even in the sadness and the pain and the heartache, love still exists there. It's hard to remember that, especially when we've been made to believe the opposite. But I feel like this is really about you trusting yourself and taking a leap of faith on relationships for yourself. We have the Death card on justice. And I feel like this is a really big sign that, like, you know what is done. You know what cycle is done in your life, Aries. You know that there's something that has to end in order to bring balance back into your life. And I think sometimes that's the hard truth, you know. And we also need to remember that the endings bring new beginnings. And without those endings, we can't have those brand new beginnings. And without those endings, I mean, endings bring lessons. You know, all of the challenges that endings bring to us help us to grow and evolve. I know, me and my silly little optimism that I have about things, but it's true. Like, the challenges that I've been through in my life have not been small, and I continue to face them, and yet I'm still able to be optimistic about my life. I, call me crazy, I guess. Throw me into the mental institution for being optimistic, right? But that's the thing, is bringing that balance into your life means growth, means evolution, and that's what the Death card represents. We have the Hanged Man on the Knight of Cups. I feel like for some of you, you either want to approach someone or someone wants to approach you, and there's this reflection that's needed. I feel like before you approach anybody, there's some kind of reflection that's needed. Usually when the hanged man is there, it's about pausing to see things in a different perspective. And in this case, and it also, I want to say, whatever is coming your way, I also want you to see that in a different perspective. For a lot of us, it's really hard to receive because every single time that we have received something from someone else, it was like with a catch. You know, like I'll scratch your back if you scratch mine. Like, why can't we just give just to give? Just because we exist, not because we need something back from that person, right? So sometimes I feel like there's this amount of perspective we have to find in what it is that we are agreeing to receive, because it's not often reciprocated in the same kind of way, or even in a positive way. Even in a positive way, sometimes it's not reciprocated. 8 of Cups on the High Priestess, and then the 10 on the 10 of Cups, we got the Sun, and I love that for you guys so much. And I want to talk about all 4 of these cards together, because that 8 of Cups on the High Priestess, like, you know that there is a level of detachment that is needed right now from you, because sometimes we do that detachment for self-preservation, and sometimes we need to have that detachment for perspective. But I think it all really comes down to self-preservation. And so there's a certain level of attachment that you are walking away from in January, because you recognize that there's something better for you. There's something better for you. And sometimes before we physically detach from a situation, we have to emotionally detach from the situation first. And especially when it's like in an abusive kind of situation. Like, I hate to bring that up, trigger warning, hate to bring that kind of thing up, but emotionally, physically, spiritual, like in any way, kind of abuse, spiritual abuse, any kind of abuse. And a lot of times that all comes together, right? They're all the same thing, right? Sometimes we have to detach from the emotional attachment to that person that we have created with ourselves and with them, in order, for us to move forward. We have the Sun with the 10 of Cups. And when you detach emotionally from a situation that's kind of weighing you down, that's where the clarity is. And I want you to believe that that 10 of Cups is possible. I want you to believe that, the more you focus forward, the more you allow yourself to kind of look towards a horizon and look towards like all of the bigger and better things that are coming in life, it's easier to see. It's easier to see the clarity. It's easier to see that 10 of Cups. And the 10 of Cups really starts as a feeling. And a lot of times we have to detach from one emotional feeling in order to gain another, in order to be able to see that perspective of that more positive outcome, right? Because if we're in a really, if we're in a situation where we're trying to find balance and we know that the situation needs to end in order to find that balance, that's not an easy decision to make. And I feel like you've already made the decision, but this feels like this is about planning, right? Taking a leap of faith on yourself. The 4 of Swords at the bottom of the deck, the 10 of Wands. This is what I'm talking about, that heaviness, right? With the decision that you have to make. the Four of Swords, the Ten of Wands, and then we have the Two of Wands. So when in doubt, when you have to make that decision and you're feeling really heavy about having to make that decision, give yourself an opportunity to rest. That Four of Swords is meditation. It's rest, it's healing. And that's where the exhaustion needs to end, right? Like, you don't have to carry the heaviness of what to do about a situation when you already know what you need to do about the situation. It's just the action that needs to be taken. To be quite honest, you guys, it's just the action that needs to be taken. And it's in order for you to make choices for a better future. And the thing is the clarity that you have. So you don't question necessarily what you need to do in this situation. You question what the rest of it's going to look like after the fact, right? And I tell everybody this all the time, that those details, the details of the future, the things that are going to come after the ending, after the transmutation, because really that's what it is. It's like a transmutation of energy. It may not even be that this relationship is ending. It may be that you guys just need to have a sit down talk and transmute the negative energy into the more positive energy and think about the future a little bit more. But you don't need to carry this. So yeah, it's time to find a little bit of perspective and to recognize that you deserve to receive without having to constantly give of yourself to. Okay. And you're on a new journey. You know, I feel like the confusion, it's not about the decision you have to make. It's about not knowing what's coming after the decision, after you make the decision. And that's none of your business. It's just the details aren't any of your business. Just make the first decision and let the rest come. Okay? I love you guys. Take really good care of yourselves. I do actually have a new relationship reading too, if you would like to find out what your own relationship energetic signature is. That is on my calendar for February. So if you want to get in on that relationship reading, check it out. Love you guys. Bye.